Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Secretary, welcome. Are you familiar with the William J. Hughes FAA Technical Center in southern New Jersey?
Yes, I haven't had the opportunity to visit, but I'm certainly aware of it, yeah.
Good. I hope you do visit sometime. For those who don't know, the FAA Technical Center is critical to national security. It supports our national airspace and traffic control systems. It also conducts classified research. In fact, I recently toured it again and learned that this secure facility blocks not millions, but billions of cyber attacks every single day, most of them through China. Through the Technical Center, the FAA owns and manages a large campus in South Jersey. The FAA campus includes the Atlantic City International Airport. I am personally deeply alarmed by the administration's plan to use the FAA campus to house thousands, up to 60,000 illegal immigrants in a town that only has 50,000 residents. In August, the Department of Homeland Security recommended that the Atlantic City Airport be used to house up these 60,000 immigrants from New York City. First of all, the Atlantic City Airport is an unacceptable place to house these people. There are no services or infrastructure at the airport that could possibly support this. Logistically, it is a poor concept. Further, the Atlantic City Airport is surrounded by facilities critical to national security. Besides the Technical Center, the 177th Air National Guard uses the airport to defend Washington, D.C. and New York City from attack, the first defense, rapid response. These facilities cannot be compromised. Atlantic City Airport was recommended for migrant housing because it is part of the federal FAA campus. It's federal. Decisions about the use of this property, Mr. Secretary, ultimately fall to the Department of Transportation. This is your responsibility. Question, was the Department of Transportation consulted in the process of DHS recommending the Atlantic City Airport as a migrant housing site?
I would have to check the record on that. What I would tell you is that generally a recommendation is not the same thing as an outcome or a policy, and so developing a list of potential sites is not necessarily something that is within FAA authority, even though ultimate clearance of something like a non-aviation use on an airfield is something that would have to come through FAA channels.
And I understand that, but it scared the daylights out of people. If a city of 9 million people is having trouble dealing with all this, how would a town, a semi-rural town of 50,000 people do? It was on the list, as well as some others were on the list, but it concerns us greatly. I would appreciate if you would look into it, and I would appreciate if you would get back to me.
We'll make sure to do so.
And I'm going to ask a commitment I hope that you can make, that you would not allow the Department of Homeland Security to use this facility for that purpose.
I don't oversee the Department of Homeland Security, but you certainly have our commitment that all FAA facilities and any facility under our jurisdiction will always be secure.
I hope so. I hope that once we resolve this, in fact, that we can move on to strengthening America's aviation system. The United States of America is at a pivotal moment for aviation. Our infrastructure is on the brink of failure in many cases, with thousands of flight delays, dozens of near misses every year. In January, unprecedented since 9/11, we had to ground all flights for the first time. I'm seriously concerned. We need to do better. You know, I also, in my travels, visited one of the traffic control towers at Atlantic City Airport, and I think it's finally going to be replaced. But interesting to me, with all the money that we spend on things, they're still using floppy disks via 1993. I mean, that's unconscionable. We need to have the best air traffic control system in the world. We need to have the best airports in the world. This is the United States of America. So can you identify steps you're taking to improve our aviation system from safety and efficiency to the traveler experience, secondly, and to new technology, third?
Absolutely, and I'd really appreciate the question. Let me break it down as quickly as I can into the component parts of the question. With regard to traveler experience, We have overseen what I believe is the biggest expansion of passenger rights in decades. Just over a year ago, not one of the top 10 airlines guaranteed in writing that if you got stuck, you would be guaranteed hotel accommodations, meals, vouchers for ground transportation, anything like that. Now nearly all of them do. We have secured or encouraged with our enforcement actions, leveraging some $2.5 billion in refunds getting to passengers, and we're underway on rules for things like not having to pay extra when you're sitting next to your kids. With regard to the physical infrastructure, we are putting the funds in the IIJA to work. But like you, I am concerned about the state of play in terms of the progress toward modernization and the adoption of needed technologies in the FAA. The only thing that I think is harder than a multi-billion-dollar IT project is a multi-billion-dollar public sector IT project. That's in many dimensions.
Mr. Secretary, the gentleman's time has expired.
Okay,
The chair
that's
now
what's so important about
recognizes Ms.
reauthorization.
Davis.
Thank you, Chairman. Please look into the FAA. Thank you.